There's been a lot of fear about masks in terms of whether they're safe to wear, whether you can get enough air into the mask to be able to breathe comfortably. There's the, is it safe to wear one? We checked that separately with a pulse ox. The other question is it effective in actually preventing things from getting in through your mask if you're the one breathing? That, well, what's the point of wearing a mask because everything gets through it anyway and it's not helpful. And honestly, the truth is somewhere in between. So you want a mask that you can breathe through and is enough to prevent most of the droplets from getting through into you, but not so thick that you can't breathe through it. So for example, this is a vacuum cleaner. If I covered this with plastic, it's pulling on the plastic, it doesn't pull up any flour because it's not letting any air through the plastic and into this. Whereas if I use this piece of really light black fabric, the air clearly gets sucked into the vacuum cleaner through the fabric. That's why the flour ended up on this thing. So let's start first with the surgical mask that we would wear normally in the hospital. Now, something like this, I would wear it, let's say somebody has the flu or RSV or a cold and I'm trying to not catch that. Then I would go into the room, take care of the patient, and then not use this again. Because if the kid was coughing on me, I could have virus all over the outside of my mask, just like I could have it on the gown that I'm wearing. So I would take that gown off and throw it away. I would take this off very carefully and throw it away. And I would wash my hands because some of what that baby was coughing might have gotten on the outside of my mask. So that's how we normally would use these masks. Let's see how much it prevents in terms of allowing things through though. So to do that, I'm gonna put this over the vacuum like that. And then I'm gonna cover that with the surgical mask. We're gonna see how much we can pull through. So two things. I wanna make sure that enough air is going through the mask that it's sucking the flour up and onto the surface. If I don't get flour on here, that means it's hard to breathe through. So that's the first step. So we can see that we got some flour on the surface of that. The next question is how much came through it and onto the black fabric. And so I take this off and we look here and nothing got through it, okay? So it was breathable enough that it was able to pull the air onto the mask and the air traveled into the vacuum cleaner, but it didn't let any of it end up on here. So what about the N95 mask is the famous one, right? This is the one that we use when we know that somebody has a bad virus. Over that. And see what we can do. Something on the outside. Let's see if we were able to pull anything up. So there you go. So it was breathable because the flour was on here. And did anything get through? No. Okay? So this is an example of my cloth mask that I wear like this and I tie it. Okay? This is what I make my masks out of. This is what a lot of people make it out of. It's 2 layers of cotton. It's 200 thread count or something, right? So let's see how well this prevents things and how breathable it is. So again, I'm gonna turn this on. You see the flour on there? You see that it's easy to breathe through. And it pulled up some of that. And then there's nothing on the other side. Ooh, got a big chunk there. So is it breathable? Yes. Let's see how much it prevents stuff from getting through. Pretty clean, right? So this is quite effective and it's very breathable. Now, to take this a step further, I've seen people say, well, I want a really, really, really good mask, like stronger than N95. N95 with a filter, and it gets crazy. So here's layers of cotton, a filter, another 2 layers of cotton, okay? And I honestly don't know how breathable this is gonna be. I'm pretty sure nothing will get through it, but let's see how well it does in terms of pulling up, in terms of its breathability. Oh, like boost, it's like the strongest setting. I'm gonna see if it's possible to get air through here. Okay, so here we go again. It's getting really mad at me. It keeps saying airway blocked. I'm still not getting any flour on there. I don't know what to take, but none of the air is getting through. The vacuum cleaner thinks it's blocked, and it's not even pulling the flour off the tray. So let's take out the filter and just leave it with 4 layers of fabric. So here's 4 layers of fabric. Let's see if that works. Still not really breathable, right? We'll go back to our regular 2 layers. So this is 600 thread count, 2 layers. It's barely allowing some through, and it's not allowing anything on the other side. So you have to be careful. You can't overdo it. You can't use so many layers that you can't breathe through it. It's almost like breathing through plastic. That won't work. You will not be able to breathe. Anybody who wears a mask like that's this thick ends up wearing it, they take it off, they wear it under their nose, they feel like they're suffocating because it's basically like as thick as plastic, so you can't use that. The other end of the spectrum is people using them that are so thin that it's like a joke. So I don't know, fleece is like my least favorite thing for this. It looks thick, but let's just test it here. So here we go. Let's see. Okay. Not that much, right? So based on how much came in, let's see how much came through. And look how much came through. Like this literally is almost like nothing, right? Like whatever came onto here pretty much came right through. So this is like, that's why this is my worst kind. What about athletic material? Same thing. Oh, I lost my thing. Here we go. So we'll put this on. Then we'll put our athletic fabric over this. This is like one of my hoodie thingies. Again, regular suction. Let's see. It's there. So it's breathable. And what came through looked almost more than what stayed on the outside. So when you're talking about something that's super porous, that you're really just kidding yourself, it's gonna be something like this. Where you feel, oh, it's so breathable, it's fantastic, but actually what stayed on the outside was even less than what came through. So beware of things that are super breathable, where you feel better than ever. So things like athletic, spandexy things, or fleece. Don't make it too thick with multiple layers, so many layers with a coffee filter that you literally cannot breathe through it at all. 2 layers of simple cotton, like 200 thread count each or something like that, is really pretty effective. And obviously the surgical masks are good, but mostly because they're disposable. So if you want something you could throw out, you would use this. If I didn't have these, honestly, I would end up having, say, 10 of these that I bring with me to the hospital. I wear it into a contaminated room where I know the kid's sick, and then I would take it off and put it in a bag and then put on a new one for the next room and then wash them all at the end of the day. These are disposable because we can afford disposable things in this country. But alternatively, you would just use this and use multiple of them and wash them. And of course, an N95, because it's completely airtight, it doesn't let anything else through, is what you would use for somebody who's actually COVID positive and aerosolizing. Okay. This is what I wear every day. I've been wearing since the beginning of March. Seriously guys, just 6 feet away, wear a mask, just common sense, wash your hands. That way we can keep our country going, keep our economy moving, not have people isolated and lonely at home. Yeah, I don't look good this way. I know it messes my hair up, but it's okay. Better ugly than dead. Okay, bye.